Welcome back, everyone. Today we will be learning how to create a moving object with GUI in Roblox Studio. Now, I wanted to say I'm quite sorry for not uploading in a long time. I actually have been uploading on my other channel, but I will be continuing the tutorial series on this one. Yeah. The first thing you want to do is just open up Roblox Studio. I will be choosing a classic baseplate for this. Of course, you can choose a game that you've already been working on, or you can choose um, a completely new template. Now, for this tutorial, specific tutorial, we will only be doing, so you will be able to control only one object. And for this one, I will be using a regular part. Of course, you can use something else, maybe a model, or of course, it has to be a union for this tutorial because we will be moving it via the properties. So in this case, that would be the position property, which is right over here. So you need to make sure that you are using either a model with a lot of unions to a main part, or you are using a regular union or mesh. So what you want to do is just rename this part to move part. I will actually change this to the color red just so we can see it. Make sure it is anchored. Um, doesn't really matter if it's can collide. That is really up to you. And now we will actually create the GUI that will move the object. So for this one, I will make it either left, right, or I will make it continuous. So we will put in a GUI instead of the starter GUI. You can rename this to move object, and you can add GUI. So now what we need to do is actually insert the text buttons or it could be a image button. Doesn't really matter as long as it has the button functionality. So I'm going to rename this button to right and place in right as the text and put it on the right side. Duplicate it, put it right across, and I'll rename this one to left. Same thing in the Explorer, left. So now we have both of our buttons. This one will move the object left, and this button will move the object right. Of course, you can customize your buttons. For now, I'm just gonna leave it like this because I want to leave the customization up to you. For now, I'll just leave it like that. So next thing that we're gonna do is insert a local script inside of the move object UI. And now we're actually going to begin with our variables. So we're going to begin with the first variable, which is local move part. This is the part that we are moving, equals game. This is our path, dot workspace, dot move part. This is the part that we're moving once again. Next variable is, the next two variables are going to be our button variables. So we're going to say local right button. And I'm gonna say right button because later on we're gonna call function right. So I'm gonna say local right button equals script dot parent. This is the path dot, and then we're gonna say right. So we just created our path for the right button. We're gonna do the same thing but for the left. So I'm just gonna copy that line and replace that with left. Perfect. So we have our three variables ready, and we can actually create the functions. So what these functions will do is they're actually going to create or move the object. So we're going to say local, or actually we're going to say right button dot mouse button one click colon connect. Inside of here you're going to say function, and then you're going to delete that one parenthesis, add two, new line, and then n should appear. And then what we're going to say is move part dot position equals move part dot position plus vector3 dot new. Now, before we actually put in what's inside of the parentheses, I'll just explain what this does so far. Move to part dot position. This is the position, and then we're going to update the position. So move part dot position plus vector3 dot new. What vector3 does, and why we're not going to use vector2. Vector3 means we're working with a three-dimensional object. If we were using vector2, that means we're probably working with a GUI. So now that we have that placed in, we're going to see what makes the object move right. So we're going to go to view, we're going to go to properties, we're going to open this part right over here, and then we're going to move it just a bit right, and then as you can see, it's moving up. So we're going to say, this is the X, so we're going to say however studs you want it to move every time. For now, I'm going to say one stud to the right. So X, and then 0 for the Y, and 0 for the Z. So this is actually quite simple, and this is our move part for the right. Now we're going to copy that line, and then duplicate it. And I'm just going to rename that to left button. And then instead of 1, we're going to say -1. So there we go. We have two buttons. So I just want to test out before we add our final button, which is the continuous. So we're going to say play here, and let's test it out. So it'll take a while to load, or just a moment. Okay, so we're in the game. As you can see, this is our part. When I move it to the right, or when I click the right button, it'll move to the right and one stud. And if I move it to the left using the left button, it'll move one stud to the left. So this is our move object so far. This part is optional if you want to add a move button. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna add a, we're gonna actually duplicate that. And I'm just gonna rename this to actually, I'm just going to rename this to move, actually, so just so it's not really complicated, and I'm going to rename this to move, and then we will add one more variable. Now, again, this is optional. Local move on equals script dot parent dot move. This is our path, and then we're going to say move on, or actually not move on, that should be move button, since we renamed all the other ones button, just so you don't get confused. Move button mouse button one click colon connect. Inside of here, we're going to say function. Delete these two, that one parenthesis, add two new lines. So we're going to say move part dot position equals move part dot position plus vector3 dot new. And it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what you choose it to be. For now, I'm just gonna make it go right one stud. And now now you may be wondering, this only moves it to the right. So how do we actually make it continuous? Well, we're going to do something called a while loop. So while true do. Now what this does is this creates a loop, and true is our condition. So this will create a infinite loop. So we're just going to take that line, enter that in, and now there's going to be an error since this just keeps moving on. We won't actually see the part move. So we want some time in between each movement. So we're going to say wait, and then in parentheses we're going to say let's say 0.5. So every 0.5 seconds this moves once when we click the button. So let's go ahead and test it out. Play here. And as you can see, let's just move this one right. There we go. So now when we click move, it moves every 0.5 seconds one stud to the right. So as you can see, just moving right now. And that is it for this tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial for how to create a moving part. Next time we will be creating how to create a specific moving part. So you can select which part you want. You can even insert a new part that'll be for our building series. So yeah, this will be the end of this tutorial. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the chat. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you all next time.